Speaker, I move to suspend the rules and pass H.R. 3521, the Department of Veterans Affairs Major Medical Facility Lease Authorization Act of 2013 with an amendment.
The clerk will report the title of the bill.
H.R. 3521, a bill to authorize Department of Veterans Affairs major medical facility leases and for other purposes.
Pursuant to the rule, the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Miller, and the gentleman from Maine, Mr. Michoud, each will control 20 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Florida.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask unanimous consent that all members would have 5 legislative days with which to revise and extend their remarks on H.R. 3521 as amended.
Without objection, so ordered.
Mr. Speaker, I yield myself such time as I may consume.
Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. H.R. 3521 is the Department of Veterans Affairs Major Medical Facility Lease Authorization Act of 2013. As amended, it will authorize 27 major medical facility leases as requested by the VA in the fiscal year of 2013 and 2014 budget submissions. I would also make a number of congressional findings and establish certain requirements for the budgetary treatment of such leases to ensure that the legislation itself meets both the spirit and the intent of the House cut-go rule. As we all know, when the committee was considering legislation to authorize VA's major medical facility leases last year, the Congressional Budget Office raised concerns about how to properly account for VA's lease authorizations. In response to CBO's concerns, Section 3 of the bill would require the VA to record an obligation at the time a contract is signed in an amount equal to either the total payment that would be made under its full term or an amount equal to the sum of the first annual lease payment and any specified cancellation costs. For the last year, I've remained committed to working closely with VA, CBO, and our colleagues from both sides of the aisle and both sides of the Capitol to find a way forward for VA's major medical facility lease program on behalf of the veterans of this country, especially those in the 27 communities that will be impacted by the leases included in this piece of legislation. To that end, I'm grateful for the hard work and the leadership of our ranking member, Mike Michaud of Maine, and the other committee members in advancing this piece of legislation to the floor. At this time, I urge all my colleagues to join me in supporting H.R. 3521 as amended, and I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman reserves the balance of his time. Gentleman from Maine.